You spin me right round. There's Dead or Alive. Pete Burns, our guest tonight, 9:32. This is Capital Radio. And yes, a former number one. You probably remember it. Perhaps you might be too young and you don't. But there we are, a few years back. I can't believe it when I read this here. That was actually a Stock Aitken Waterman. Probably their first number one, wasn't it? Stock Aitken Waterman.
Yeah. I'm probably the only one that ever deserved it as well.
Oh, no, I was going to say, now, because you are actually technically part of the same stable, although you might not want to be associated with this, as like Kylie and Jason and Sonia and the other Stock Aitken Waterman guests that obviously are making it at the moment. What do you reckon about, the music? Because it's big in America too.
Yeah, I think they're really... Have I got to keep these headphones on?
No, take it up. Take it off.
I feel stupid with them on. I think they're really, really talented. I really do. I have the ultimate respect for them, but I think that the stable, as you refer to it, is... I think it's clogging up a large part of the music industry now. I feel that there's so many young bands now that should be able to break through, and it seems to be a requirement now to have a Stock Aitken Waterman production, even to the fact that sometimes some groups have bid for one. I think it's probably a little bit unhealthy. They do great records, but, enough's enough.
It's funny, see, someone said to me recently that they're only doing nowadays what Motown did back in the 60s. They had a stable of singers and they kept churning them out. Hollando's Your Holland, we're packing out those songs.
I suppose so, but I think on a quality level, maybe they're not so... Maybe it's not really comparable. I don't really see them as classic as some of the Motown records, but maybe that's because... looking back on the Motown thing, it's in retrospect. You have a lot more respect for things in retrospect. Like, I'm sure Bananarama will be respected a lot more in 10 years than they are now. They won't be considered so throwaway. It's very hard to appreciate it all now. I think they do great pop records and I really, really like them. I just think maybe there's too many of them, really.
So now, all right, matters present now. Okay, you just jet-lagged literally this afternoon, flew in from Los Angeles. Sounds posy. What were you doing? Was it hard work? Or?
No, we were doing promotional work out there. I've got a hit record out there, so I did a few things like this and just had a holiday and nothing really.
Because, if people obviously see you on TV or see you in magazines over here, a few years back when you couldn't open a paper up and without seeing you or, your band, read about you and what have you, you kind of forget that all around the world you're doing things at the same time. Now, in Japan, you are, still mega. It's number one with a new single.
Yeah, there's been 2 number ones out there and the album's doing really, really well. The Japanese have really been a very loyal and reliable market for us. We played out there about 18 months ago at the Budokan several nights, and this time we go back and we're doing a stadium called The Egg to 45,000 people. It's a reliable market. I think most groups who are successful do have one market that's very reliable for them. Britain's a bit unpredictable for us, mainly because we haven't done the usual promotion cycle and the things that you're supposed to do, because we go and do other things. The most important thing is to make a quality record. We produced and wrote this album ourselves, so it took us a lot of time. It's not as if we had producers sitting at the mixing desk while we were out doing promo and getting our pictures taken. This is very much our own product, so it took more time. And consequently, because it is our own, we feel a need to promote it because it's something that we're pleased with and proud of. Whereas our other albums, I think there's been good things on them, but we don't live and die by them. It's like, you put Spin Me on before, it seems so long ago. I'm sure it's a really very, very good single, but I don't really want to retread the past all the time.
Because this new LP is called Nude, and apparently, as we are stuffy British people, they've asked you to tone it all down and cover up the naughty bits, haven't they?
There's just a penis on the cover, and they asked me to take it off. They cut my penis off, but it's just...
See, if that's getting put in the stores, though, and there are, young kids around looking at it, they probably wouldn't want to be faced with that. You have to put adult mags on the shelf, and I guess, they have to be careful. They're going into record stores.
It's a commercially available T-shirt that I'm wearing, and if you pick up a fashion magazine like Glitz magazine, the T-shirt's featured in there. I really think there's bigger problems in the world these days than, a penis print T-shirt. I really, really do think there's much bigger problems,
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Straight onto the blowers. We have some calls lined up for you now.
Okay.
And first call is... Let's see. Hello. Who's on the blower? Hello.
Hello.
What's your name?
Richard.
Richard, where are you calling us from, Richard?
From Lee.
Right, you're through to Pete. What's your question?
Okay, hello, Pete.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's fine, thanks, Richard.
Okay, I love your new song. I think it's really brilliant.
Thank you.
Okay, anyway, my question is, who's your role model?
I haven't got a role model. Sorry to disappoint you there.
So, you haven't got any at all?
No.
You haven't got any. Who's your favourite singer then?
Well, I haven't got a favourite singer so much as I've got favourite bands. I like Transvision Band.
Oh, yeah.
I like an American group called Expose.
Yeah.
I mean, I just like pop music in general. If it's a good pop single, I like it.
Okay.
What about Boy George? Was there any influence there? I mean, I know at the
It's
same
such
time...
a passé question, really.
Yeah.
It really is. No, not really.
Because you moved, I mean, he's very different now to obviously the way you are now. I mean, he's moved in a certain way and you've gone in another way, but you were all around at the same time. I guess people lumped you all together at the same time.
But I'm still here.
Well, he lives just in Hampstead. I pass his house every night. Richard, thanks for your question.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for calling. All right. Hello, who's there?
Hello,
What's your name?
it's Lee.
Lee, you're
Yeah.
through to Pete. What's your question?
Hello, Pete.
Hello, Lee.
Hello, hi. I'd just like to know that I just heard you say you produced your own album just now. I feel that most of your most interesting records were with the producers you had before, Stock Aitken and Waterman.
Have you heard this one?
I haven't heard it yet, no. But
Well, it's better.
Is it?
Yeah.
I just wondered if you would use those again, or now
No.
you're producing your own things. I think it's better than using Stock Aitken and Waterman.
Well, I think that ultimately, if you're serious about a career in music, that you should go on to produce your own records. I think groups' careers now are far too orientated towards who the producer is. I mean, it became very unhealthy at one time with people like Trevor Horn, where people were more interested in the fact that Trevor Horn had produced the records, and it's now become unhealthy that people are more interested in the Stock Aitken Waterman productions. They are only producers. They never wrote anything for us. They're producers, which means that they sit round a mixing desk and probably try and have the way, but with us it was a very difficult relationship anyway, because we always knew what we wanted to do. If you listen back to our older material before they produced it, like an album called Sophisticated Boom Boom, it was still dance music. We chose them because they did a single by somebody called Divine that we thought was really a funny pop single, and that's what we wanted to do, and it was good, but we wore it out, really. We've gone and done our own.
What is your favourite group, your favourite song by you to date?
I should think the one that's out now, Come Home With Me, and there's another one on the album called Give It Back, That Love Is Mine. That's my favourite.
Mine was It's Been a Long Time on Youthquake.
Oh, that was okay.
Excellent.
That's okay.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you, bye.
Thanks for calling, Lee.
Thanks.
Robert's next. Hi, Robert.
Hello, Robert.
Where are you calling from?
Islington.
All right, you're through to Pete. What's your question?
My question is, are we going to get a new video compilation? Because we haven't had anything out since Youthquake.
Well, I don't know. That's up to the record company, really. It's a new video compilation. Yeah, I should think so. When we've done enough videos, we've done 2 videos for singles off this album. I think eventually, when they want some more money, they'll put it out as a video compilation.
Yeah, because there's 4 videos which haven't been 4 which haven't been released off Mad, Bad and Dangerous.
Oh, really? Haven't you got them?
No, they haven't come. There's been nothing since Youthquake.
Well, you should write to the record company. Maybe they'll be really saintly and send you one.
Can't you do anything? Because there's real trouble over here actually getting hold of your stuff. Like, I got hold of Nude the other day on US import because they just keep putting back the release date.
It came out in the markets that are biggest for us first, you see. I mean, if we put it out here and it dies at a number 150, which can happen to an album, it seems like a waste of time. Yeah. So it's going to be very successful in America initially. It's already successful in Japan, and we hope that'll feed back into this country. But if it doesn't, I'm not going to be crying into my beer.
Yeah, well, like I heard you say earlier, though, you haven't done any promotional work over here for a long time.
No, I'm just starting to now because I like this album a lot. I mean, my other albums, I was never really that confident or fanatical about them. It's just something you do, But I really like this one, so I'm out playing the game.
As a matter of fact, Pete, you said you don't do the normal promotional route that a lot of other bands take. Now, what is that? See, a lot of people wouldn't know. What is the normal promotional route
it's
that you should do?
interview after interview and gossip column item after gossip column item and getting your picture taken with all the right people and going to the right nightclubs. And I think your success depends too much on celebrity. I'd rather have a normal everyday life and be obscure as a person. I wouldn't like anyone to buy my records because they like me as a human being. I'd rather they bought the records because the records were good.
That's a fair point. Ben's on the blower. Hi.
Hi.
Through to Pete. What's your question?
What's to do with your eye patch?
What's to do with the eye patch? God, that was a long time ago. What's to do with the eye patch? I had an operation on my nose, actually, and I had a black eye, and I had to wear the eye patch when I did Top of the Pops because I'd just come out of hospital, and it just kind of stuck, really.
All
And I always felt that it was a kind of disguise. I always thought when I had the eye patch on, that if I went shopping or did something really boring, if I didn't wear the eye patch, no one would recognise me. but they did. It wasn't really that good a disguise.
When you say it was a long time back, you're on the new cover. There we are. This is, might be different in Britain. You got the eye patch still.
Yeah, well, that just turned up in a bag of photo props.
Couldn't be bothered to take any pictures with the right people, so they dug out an old one.
No, it's a brand new one, but I mean, I can wear it when I want to.
All right. Hardly the most amazing thing in the world, I guess, is it the eye patch? It won't move the world, but Ben, thank you. Thanks for calling.
Okay, bye.
All right, let's crank this one on now. Obviously, a couple of callers back. He hadn't heard the new song, so we better put him out of his misery now. And what's up for you now? What are you going to do?
What am I going to do?
Now you're back in Britain.
Well, a few things like this, some interviews and stuff, and just hope for the best. We go on tour very soon. We go to Australia and Japan, and we're in rehearsal for a tour as of probably the day after tomorrow. So I'm busy.
Oof. And the new LP, Nude, is it out here yet? Or
it's not out yet, soon. What?
Record company exec now
First
screaming
week in
across.
August.
First week in August. Thank you, exec.
She's my manager.
Thanks a lot for coming in tonight. Appreciate that. Good luck with this.